Hello and welcome to another episode of the Mission TV show. This is one of the special ones where we're actually recording in a booth at the exhibit hall at the General Conference session in San Antonio, Texas. And we wish you could be here, but we're trying to get as many people as we can that are involved with foreign missions to interview so that you can see the kind of people God is calling and that you can be encouraged also to join His work and see the blessings and partake of the blessings that He has for us. You know, I'm here with Ken Norton, a friend that I've heard a lot about before, and now we're friends. We've connected, and he is currently a pastor at the Collegedale Adventist Church in right there on the campus of the Southern Adventist University.
Correct.
But your heart is, where's your heart?
Heart's in Asia.
All right. And tell us how you got to Asia in the first place and where you're...
Our family went to Singapore when I was 11. So from age 11 to 16, we were missionaries there at the Far Eastern Division. I worked at the Far Eastern Academy. My parents did.
Okay.
So I feel like I'm half Chinese, half American, because my major growing up, developmental years was there. So I just fell in love with Asia at that time.
Fantastic. And then you went back later.
Yes. I did a student missionary year, my second year of college, and that was probably the year that really gave me the fire for missions, because we traveled throughout Thailand for almost a year. I was in a singing quartet. So we learned to sing in Thai, and then we just traveled from village to village throughout the year.
Wow.
26,000 miles in the back of a pickup is what we trucked.
Amazing.
During that time.
I bet you have some amazing stories. What was the most amazing story from that time?
There was many, but I think there was probably the one story was where we had gone down to southern part of Thailand, and it was a Muslim area, where it's down towards the border of Malaysia. It's a long story, just a short piece of it. But we sang one night, the pastor preached, and then they threatened to kill one of the 4 white guys if we sang again the next night. So that was the night that literally was, that's why I'm in ministry. That was the night that changed everything for me, because I went out and sat in a field after all the yelling men left, and I was just like, I am not ready to die. I knew at that moment, just standing there looking at the stars, I was like, I don't know God. I don't know who He is. I'm here as a student missionary, but I do not know who you are, and I was so scared. And one part of that story that was life-changing for me was I went over to sit on a bench, and as I was sitting on a bench, I felt one of the guys come up and sit behind me and just put his arms around me. And I was just rocking and just crying and crying. And then when I turned around to look, there was no one there. But I could literally feel the pressure of the arms and just a peace filling me that I knew. I was like, this is God is here. So, yeah, so that was life-changing for me. They came back the next night. The trucks.
You did sing.
Yeah,
you sang
we
anyway.
did. We sang, and they came back.
Because you were ready to die then?
Yes, we made a decision. All 4 of us had gone out to do similar things, and we came back and said, we have to sing. We have to do it. So the next night, we sang. The truck pulled up, had 15 guys in the back, but they didn't do anything. So
Amazing.
They took
Praise
off,
the
and
Lord.
that night was like, okay, I want to know who you are. I'm ready to surrender my life. So that was... So Thailand has a very special place.
Yeah.
That's where I was spiritually born.
That's amazing, because I had my conversion experience in Thailand also.
Awesome.
Several years later, I think, or earlier, I'm not sure which, but rather late in life.
Yes.
So
very
then
cool.
You went back later.
In '96, my wife and I went back and started the language school in Ubon,
Okay.
which is up in the northeast part of Thailand.
It's still going?
And it's still going,
Yeah.
and it's exciting to now. My wife's in charge of student missionaries at Southern Adventist University.
Okay.
So we send students.
Yeah.
We pick the best ones and send them to our school.
So do you think we are as involved as much as we should be as a church, as a people, in foreign missions?
Absolutely not. I think that this is one area, there's a huge growing edge for us as a church. It's so easy for us we all work in our little areas and we just kind of get tunnel vision. And sometimes in the resources go to areas that are our projects and so forth, maybe in the States or in developed countries, but the need is just so huge that I wish there was more funds that were channeled that direction. Yeah.
And do you think that, okay, let's say, I'm going to give you a statistic and just get your reaction.
Yeah.
I heard just the last week, it was up to 96%. I'd heard also 92, but let's say over 90% of all Christian giving goes to the 7.5% that speak English.
Correct. Yeah.
So are you okay with that?
Yeah. No, I'm not okay with that. But so what we do, sometimes when Julie and I get really stressed over the whole thing, the Lord brings us back and says, look, I haven't called you to fix all those problems. I've called you to be a beacon of light for missions where you are in your context. We feel like someday he's going to call us back to the mission field. But right now in the context we're trying to influence young people, college-age young people, give them that vision. So many of the student missionaries that my wife sends out and we train, they come back and they're on fire for missions, and they want to do that.
Wow.
So that's kind of a piece we're playing at this part.
Have you seen, because a lot of people think, well, missions, that's a lot of work, that's a lot of sacrifice, a lot of discomfort and stuff like that. But have you seen missions being a blessing in people's lives?
Absolutely. Missions, when you are in a context where you are having to sacrifice so much, it not only completely changes you because you're every day having to say, Lord, I surrender, I can't take this is too difficult, and but at the same time your influence, the Spirit, the less you are, the more you're filled with the Spirit, which the more impact you're making on the people there. So then you go away from it, you're like, oh, I can't wait to get back to Taco Bell or to Walmart or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you come back and you're like, was that crazy? I mean, this is nothing compared to the rewards of just being spending and being spent for people who don't know Christ.
Yeah, so you're influencing young people in that setting to go as missionaries.
Yes.
And you see them come back on fire, being blessed, and then they become a blessing to their church.
Yep.
And so to promote missions and to be involved with missions is really a good thing on a lot of different levels.
Yes, absolutely.
And Mrs. White says that our involvement with foreign missions will help the work back home.
Yep.
And
reciprocal. She uses that term, reciprocal blessing. I think she uses that. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay. So, what is the best way? Let's say our viewers back home, maybe they're in a small church.
Yes.
What can they actually do? Because maybe there's not that many young people left in our church. And is there a tie between our pulling away from missions, or lack of involvement with missions, and the lack of young people that stay in the church?
I think so. Once we lose the mission of what the church was organized for, it's a downhill slide. Churches that I pastored, if they are not involved in seeing the outreach around them, or many of the church members have a passion for foreign missions as well, then that whole package, if a church gets on fire about that, God will multiply and bless everything they try to do. Wow. But people who are in smaller churches, number one, if you can't go, then give your money for somebody to go. Okay. I mean, it's a no-brainer. This is, you can't do it, then I forget who it was that made that quote that said,
go send or disobey.
If I'm not,
Go ahead.
If I'm not there, then my money will be there working for me, or something like that. I can't remember. Do something like that.
Yeah. I think John Piper says, go, send, or disobey.
Okay, I like that. That's a good one.
Yeah.
And then I think another way, this is to kind of segue into what I'm doing now with the shirt that I'm wearing that says Flock Talk.
Yeah.
This mission, the passion for missions, grew into a website that allows people in the United States to disciple people from other countries, even if those people maybe, let's say there's a typical American church and nobody speaks any foreign language except English.
Okay.
Well, there are people around the world who want to learn English.
Okay.
And there are also people that are very hungry to study the Bible. So we built a website, flocktalk.com, where any Adventist can go and start a Bible study on there by video chat. And then people can join that Bible study from anywhere around the world, and they can study the Bible with them.
Wow. And
so I have people right now hitting the website from Saudi Arabia, Indonesia, Malaysia, France. I mean, all these countries, many of them in Asia and also in Europe. But people are looking for people to study the Bible with face-to-face by video chat.
Really? So you can, like, if as an Adventist, I can go online and volunteer to be a Bible teacher.
Correct.
Really?
Just a Bible studies. Just use a simple set of Bible studies, or even just opening the Bible with someone and saying, hey, we're going to do, if you make your group that says the book of John, chapters 1 through 8, and then you just read it together with people and then talk about the passages. That's simple.
When I was growing up, I remember that there was a big push to be pen pals.
Yes.
And so you'd have a pen pal on the other side of the world.
Yes.
That you could write back and forth. This is like the modern day, but like
this is it
on steroids.
That's right. And you're face to face with them, and you can chat just like we're sitting here chatting together.
That's fantastic. You know, we've interviewed a couple of people that are opening the doors in understanding of how to work with the Muslims as well.
Great.
This would be a fantastic.
This is one of the tools I had in mind. Reasons why, because in those countries, for them to go to a church or go to somebody's house for a Bible study is very dangerous.
Yeah.
But for them to take their smartphone and go to a cafe where there's Wi-Fi and kind of sit in a corner and have an earpiece, they can study the Bible with anybody, anywhere, and it not be a threatening thing.
And in the Arabic world, you know, Jesus is showing up and angels are showing up. People are having visions and seeking after people of the book.
Yes.
That's fantastic. Yes. So how do people get involved with this?
They just go to the website, www.flocktalk.com, and then there is a lead. You can click on the lead button, and there's a little application. We try to screen, so we make sure people are teaching Adventist doctrine. And then once approved, you can go on and it's very simple to start your own group, and anybody can join it.
Fantastic. Now you have a booth here at the GC.
We do.
And so it's fully launched, ready to go?
It is. It was launched 2 weeks ago after we redid everything, and so there's only like 2 groups on there right now, but there's been a lot of interest from different world divisions of people who are very interested coming by and saying, we're going to start this, we're going to use this back in our countries.
Fantastic. So even if you're a missionary, or even if from a different part of the world, this will still work.
You can be in Thailand, you can be in Asia, you can be anywhere and start a group. It's just all by video chat using Google Hangouts. So just go for it.
Praise the Lord. So can you make an appeal to our audience maybe?
Sure.
Of whatever's on your heart, whatever you would like to see happen.
Yeah, I think the biggest appeal I like to make to people is if you have ever felt the pull to do missions. You've heard it in your mind. You're like, maybe I should be a missionary. That is not from the dark side. That is from God's kingdom. He is trying to get people to sacrifice everything in order to go and tell people who don't know about Him to go. Personally, it was life-changing for me, and I just encourage people, if God has ever put that on your heart, please do not deny that. Get in touch with John. Get in touch with some of these ministries who are supporting people and sending people, and just go, get involved. Anyone can teach conversational English, and there is many places around the world where you just build friendships by just speaking American English if you're from America. But that, and secondly, if not, then please support one of these ministries that is doing it, because Matthew 24:14 says, then the gospel shall be preached into the whole world, then the end will come. So it's not until that job is done that we're going home. So,
thank you, Pastor, and God bless you.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us here on the Mission TV show. We'll see you again next time.